Utah is at Oregon Saturday night. This is going to be a war. It is a 10:30 Eastern kickoff. Everyone's done with their evening's plans. You're going to be home. You're going to be able to watch this one. I will probably be able to tune into this one after our game, at least the second half of it. I think this is going to be it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. There are some things happening here, so pay attention. Let's dive into it because the winner controls their own destiny in the Pac-12. So you don't need other things to happen. You win this game, and you can go to the conference championship game point blank. Do you remember this matchup last year? Even those of you who don't normally bathe in Pac-12 football coverage, I think you remember this last year. Utah goes to Oregon, or Oregon goes to Utah, one of the two. Anyway, they smashed Oregon, 38-7. Then they play like 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later in the Pac-12 championship game. And it went from 38-7 to 38-10. And it was just two bloodbaths. Oregon had no shot, got put on skates, total physical mismatch. I know it's not always safe, nor is it even wise to use the last year to this year thing. I just want to remind you this matchup did happen twice last year. Can Utah do to Oregon, though, what Washington did? I got two questions. That's one of them. Washington last week just precisioned their way past Oregon because Oregon ran the ball like they wanted to, and Michael Penix and that offense for Washington still made it second best on that evening. He was 26 of 35, threw for 408 yards. Cam Rising, starting quarterback there for Utah, 4-3 as a road starter since 2021. So he's been really good at home. More mixed results on the road. I was reading some of the coverage out there in Utah. They think this is his last go-around there. He's a fifth-year guy, probably going to test the NFL waters. So you're seeing probably some of the last college football of Cam Rising's career. Dalton Kincaid at tight end has been phenomenal out there. I mean, they had injury at the position, and Kincaid steps up and could win all sorts of awards. And he's playing in a Brock Bowers world, by the way. Like Brock Bowers exists at tight end at Georgia, and Kincaid's still out there kind of holding his own. Another interesting dynamic here, Tavion Thomas is the running back there for Utah. Watch him this weekend. He had a good game last week. I think he probably is getting healthy at the right time. He started strong, and then he dipped in production, and he's been banged up. I think they're getting him healthy at the right time is what I would suspect. Now, I asked you, can Utah do enough offensively like Washington did last week? Well, here's the follow-up to that. Will they have to? And I'm not talking about them shutting Oregon down defensively per se. However, I kind of am. The status of a number of these Oregon players is very much up in the air, and one of them's Bo Nix. And I'm not sure we're going to see him Saturday, which would turn this game sideways. So that's not me confirming anything, but there are some whispers out of Oregon where it's going to be either game time or you may not get to see Bo Nix. And if you don't, I don't like the position that puts Oregon in, obviously. So Bo Nix, if you don't have him, you are heavily leaning on your running game. And Utah leads the Pac-12 in total defense. They lead the Pac-12 in third down defense. They lead the Pac-12 in fourth down defense. So it could be tough sledding there. Now, if Nix is able to go, that is a different story, but it's very much up in the air right now, from what I can tell. So what does the model think about this, Colin? Well, the money line right now is Oregon minus 155, Utah plus 130. The spread is Oregon minus 3. We have, well, that's the wrong capsule. So that sounded a little rude. Colin punches the show like phenomenally every night, and the first time he hits what we call a sausage finger in there, which is where you press two buttons. So the Utah line here, they're plus 3. Model has the wrong team favored. Like our model has Utah at minus 1, whereas Vegas has Oregon minus 3. That is without the Bo Nix injury possibility being baked in. So Oregon minus 3 is the Caesars line. We already like Utah minus 1. If I'm considering the possibility that they are either playing with a very limited Bo Nix or without him, I got to roll with Utah. I'm just going to follow the model here. Because if they have him, my point is, if they have him, the model still thinks Utah's got an excellent shot here. If they don't, I, along with the model, think they have an excellent shot. So I'm going to somewhat blindly roll with Utah to win the game outright. And right now, the odds to win the Pac-12 championship, as I told you a few minutes ago, it's dead even. There are 3 teams there, USC, Oregon, and Utah, and they're kind of all sitting there with pretty much equal shots, and UCLA's a little ways back, but keep an eye on that Bo Nix situation. I mean, that's huge. That's a really, really big deal out there. Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure and leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.